Today, I want to talk about a resource that millions of homeowners already own, but almost nobody is using. It is a battery that may be 5 or 6 times larger than a typical home battery. It may have cost you tens of thousands of dollars, and most of the time, it's sitting in your garage doing absolutely nothing. And I'm talking about the battery inside your electric vehicle. We normally think of an EV battery as something that powers a car. We charge it at home, drive the car, come back and charge it again. And that battery could potentially do much more. It could store electricity produced by your solar panels during the day. It could power your house in the evening. It could keep your refrigerator, lights, and internet running during a blackout. Eventually, it might even send electricity back to the grid when the grid needs it most. The technology is called bidirectional charging, and it could completely change how we think about electric vehicles, solar panels, and home energy. California's solar timing problem. Let's begin with the problem. California has a lot of solar electricity available during the middle of the day. That is when the sun is shining and millions of solar panels are producing power. But that is not necessarily when households need the most electricity. Electricity demand often increases in the late afternoon and evening. People come home, they turn on the air conditioning, they start cooking, they run appliances, and many of them plug in their electric vehicles. In other words, California frequently has plenty of solar electricity when the demand is relatively low and needs more electricity after the sun goes down. That timing difference has become especially important for homeowners installing solar under California's newer net billing tariff, sometimes called NEM 3.0. Under the older system, homeowners could send excess solar electricity to the grid and receive credits that were much closer to the retail price of the electricity. Under the newer system, the electricity you export in the middle of the day is usually worth much less than the electricity you may have to purchase from the grid in the evening. Solar without a battery is not useless. That would be an exaggeration. If your solar panels are producing electricity while your home is using it, you are still avoiding the cost of buying that electricity from the utility. But the economics become much better when you can store your excess solar energy during the day and use it later when electricity is more expensive. That is why nearly 70% of California customers installing solar under the new net billing tariff had paired it with a battery storage by the end of 2024. The California Public Utilities Commission itself says customers can maximize their savings by storing energy and using or exporting it during higher value hours. Your car battery is much larger than a home battery. Now let's compare the batteries. A Tesla Powerwall stores 13.5 kilowatt hours of electricity. But even an affordable electric car may contain a battery of approximately 60 to 65 kilowatt hours. The 2022 Chevrolet Bolt, for example, has a battery of approximately 65 kilowatt hours. Tesla does not normally advertise the exact battery capacity of every Model 3 and Model Y versions, but depending on the version, those vehicles generally fall into roughly the 60 to 80 kilowatt hour class. Tesla's own long-term planning documents use approximately 75 kilowatt hours as a representative pack size for Model 3 and Model Y category. So one ordinary EV may hold as much electricity as 4, 5, or even 6 Powerwalls. A larger electric truck can store even more. And this creates a strange situation. Homeowners are being told that they should purchase a home battery to improve the economics of their solar system. Meanwhile, many of those same homeowners have already purchased a much larger battery and it's parked in their garage. California's giant battery fleet. Now, expand that idea across the entire state. According to California Energy Commission's vehicle registration data, California had approximately 1.75 million battery electric vehicles on the road as of December 31, 2025. Suppose, just for a rough calculation, that the average battery in those vehicles holds approximately 70 kilowatt hours. Multiply 1.75 million vehicles by 70 kilowatt hours, and you get more than 120 gigawatt hours of potential battery capacity. Now, that is not precise engineering calculation. Battery sizes may vary. Not every battery would ever be completely available. But it gives us a sense of the scale. California has the equivalent of millions of home batteries already sitting inside electric cars. Of course, we cannot use all that capacity. Some cars are being driven, some are not plugged in. Owners need to preserve enough charge for transportation, and most EVs currently cannot send electricity back into the home. But electric cars are normally parked for most of the day. So we have built an enormous distributed battery network without really building the systems needed to use it as a battery network. That leads to an obvious question. Why can I charge my car from my house, but I cannot easily power my house from my car? Electricity normally travels in only one direction. The answer is that today's charging equipment was generally designed for electricity to move in one direction. Electricity moves from the grid or from your solar system through the charger and into your EV battery. A bidirectional system allows electricity to move the other way as well. The electricity can travel from the EV battery through the compatible equipment and into your house. But this requires more than a different charging cable. An EV battery stores direct current or DC electricity. Your home generally uses alternating current or AC electricity. The system therefore needs an inverter to convert the electricity into a form your house can use. It may also need a gateway, a transfer switch, energy management software, and modifications to your electric panel. And during an outage, the system must safely disconnect your house from the electrical grid. That last part is extremely important. You cannot have your EV sending power through utility lines while workers believe those lines are not energized. The equipment must isolate your house from the grid before it begins providing backup power. So the missing piece is not just the battery. The vehicle, the charger, the inverter, the electrical panel, the software, and the utility all need to communicate with each other. This is where it comes V2L, V2H, and V2G. So you may hear several different terms used when people discuss this technology. The first is vehicle to load or V2L. Vehicle to load means the car can directly power individual devices. You might connect a refrigerator, a power tool, camping equipment, or a few appliances to an outlet or adapter connected to the vehicle. Several EVs already offer this capability. It can be extremely useful during a short outage or while camping, but it is not the same as integrating the car with the electrical system of your house. The next level is vehicle to home or V2H. This is when an EV battery can power circuits inside your home. During an outage, the car could potentially run your refrigerator, lights, internet, selected outlets, and depending on the system's power output, possibly larger appliances. Vehicle to home could also have an everyday financial use. You could charge the EV when electricity is inexpensive or when your solar panels are producing excess power. Then you could use some of that stored electricity between 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. when many California utility rates are higher. Then there is a vehicle to grid or V2G. This goes one step further. Instead of using the battery only inside your home, you allow some electricity to flow back onto the grid. The utility or the energy management company might pay you for making that capacity available during periods of high demand. When thousands of vehicles participate together, they can function like a virtual power plant. But these terms are not interchangeable. A vehicle that can power an appliance does not necessarily have the ability to power your electrical panel. A vehicle that provides emergency home backup does not necessarily allow daily energy shifting. And a system that powers your house may not have permission to export electricity to the grid. So, whenever the company describes a vehicle or a charger as bidirectional, you need to ask, does it support V2L, V2H, or V2G? Does it work only during an outage? Can I use it every day to avoid peak electricity rates? And can it work with my solar panels? What does the equipment cost today? This is where technology is still relatively expensive and fragmented. Tesla offers power share for the Cybertruck. The equipment bundle is approximately $1950, and Tesla says the standard installation can bring the total to roughly $4,000, although complicated electrical work can increase that amount. A properly configured Cybertruck can provide up to 11.5 kilowatts of continuous backup power. Now, don't confuse 11.5 kilowatt with kilowatt hour. Kilowatt is a power output at a moment in time, while kilowatt hour measures total stored energy in the battery. GM Energy sells a bidirectional charger and a vehicle to home enablement kit. The regular list price for the complete GM V2H bundle has been approximately $9,000 before installation, although GM has offered promotional discounts. Its system includes the charger, an inverter, a home hub, and additional equipment required to provide backup power. Wallbox offers the Quasar 2 system for compatible Kia EV9s. The equipment has been advertised starting at approximately $6,440 before taxes and installation. Another company, I don't know how to pronounce it, DCBEL or DECBEL, sells the ARA home energy system for approximately $10,000 before installation. It works with vehicles such as the Volvo EX90 in supported markets. These are not inexpensive systems. You may also need electrical panel work, permits, utility approval, and professional installation. However, we should remember that this is still a young technology. As more manufacturers adopt common standards, more electricians learn how to install the equipment, and more homes are built with bidirectional charging in mind, the cost should become more competitive. But we're not there yet. Today, you cannot simply purchase any bidirectional charger and connect it to any electric car. The charger and the vehicle must be specifically compatible. So, which vehicles can do this today? Let us look at some of the vehicles that currently support real home backup capability. The Tesla Cybertruck supports Tesla PowerShare. However, Tesla's Model S, Model 3, Model X, and Model Y do not currently support Tesla's home backup system. The Ford F-150 Lightning was one of the first widely available vehicles promoted as being able to power a house. Ford says the truck can provide up to 9.6 kilowatts and, under certain conditions, power a home for several days. Ford's automatic home backup system supports 2022 through 2025 F-150 Lightnings. Although Ford says original automatic home backup equipment is no longer available for sale, so new buyers need to investigate equipment availability carefully. General Motors is moving more aggressively toward making this available across its EV lineup. GM's compatibility list includes newer versions of vehicles such as the Chevrolet Silverado EV, Equinox EV, and Blazer EV, the GMC Sierra EV and Hummer EV, and several Cadillac EVs. GM also lists the new 2027 Chevrolet Bolt as V2H compatible. But that does not make older Bolts compatible. My 2022 Chevrolet Bolt has perfectly useful 65 kilowatt hour battery, but it cannot currently connect to GM's V2H system. Kia now supports vehicle to home capability on compatible EV9s using the Wallbox Quasar 2 system. Volvo has enabled bidirectional charging for the 2025 EX90 in selected US markets through the Decpel ARA home energy system. More compatible vehicles will undoubtedly appear, but this is still very much a vehicle to vehicle and a charger by charger market. California is trying to push the market forward. In 2024, California enacted Senate Bill 59. The law does not automatically require every EV sold in California to support bidirectional charging. Instead, it gives the California Energy Commission's authority to require certain categories of battery electric vehicles to be bidirectional capable when the Commission determines that there is a sufficiently compelling benefit to the driver and the electric grid. Utilities are also experimenting. PG&E, for example, has operated vehicle to everything pilot programs that can help participating customers offset some equipment cost, use EV power during outages, shift energy away from expensive 4 to 9 p.m. period, and potentially earn incentives for supporting the grid. So, California is leading the discussion. But leading the discussion is not the same as making it the process easy, at least yet. A California homeowner may still need to coordinate among the automaker, charger company, electrician, city permitting department, utility, and solar installer. One incompatible component can prevent the entire system from working. To sum it up, today most people purchase an EV based on driving range, price, charging speed, and features. In the future, we may add another question: can this vehicle power my house? A bidirectional EV could provide backup power, improve the economics of solar, reduce electricity costs, and eventually earn money by supporting the grid. But the technology is still in its early stages. Only a limited number of vehicles support true vehicle to home capability. Equipment is still expensive, compatibility is fragmented, installation can be complicated, and utility rules are still developing. However, the underlying opportunity is enormous. California already has approximately 1.75 million battery electric vehicles on the road. The battery capacity already exists. The homeowners have already paid for much of it, and the cars spend most of their lives parked. The biggest battery in your house may already be sitting in your garage. We are simply waiting for our cars, our homes, and our electrical grid to learn how to talk to one another. This is Vaibhav Puranik, and you have been listening to the OMC Real Estate Podcast. Our website is oldmoneycapital.com, and it has many such interesting things. Please visit the website and click on Request a Call button to understand how multifamily syndications work and if they can help you to get real estate exposure. Our YouTube channel is Old Money Capital, and our Instagram handle is Old Money Capital 123. Thank you for listening.